Welcome back, my Algebra 2s. We're moving into, this is like the lightning speed course of Algebra 2, as we're going to do this week measures of central tendency and dispersion and the normal distribution. And then next week we'll get into series and sequences. So this will be a really quick hitter. Fortunately, you're probably familiar with some of these concepts. You should be familiar with the idea of the mean. Okay? The mean, which is an average. See, measures of central tendency are ways of analyzing data. We're dealing with statistics and data. Analyzing data so we can organize it. For instance, we might want to know what's the average. We look at averages all the time. Like what's the mean income in Santa Rosa? And what we find, or what's your average test score on your algebra test? And you know how we find that. The mean with this symbol x bar is equal to all the things that you have added together divided by the number of things that you have. Then we have those other ideas that go with the measures of central tendency. We have the mean, the median, and the mode. Again, the mean, that's your average. That's where you add up, sum all the pieces, and then divide by the number of things that you had. Okay. And then the median, think of the median in a road. It's that thing that divides the road into the two directions. It's right down the middle. So the median is that number right in the middle of your data set, as long as the data is in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. Okay. If it's not in order, then you can't find the median. Okay. And then the mode is simply the most frequently occurring value in your data set. So that's stuff that you already know. Let's go with something that you probably are not familiar with, and this idea called the standard deviation. This is a measure of dispersion. Okay, how widely spread is your data? Okay, measure of dispersion. Okay, and it's represented by this letter sigma, the small letter sigma. Okay, this little O with a little hat on it. Okay. And we have our set of data, x to xn, x1 to x to the nth term. And this is a nasty formula that we use to find the standard deviation. You take whatever your first term is, you have to find what the mean of that data set is. You subtract those two, square that number. And then with the second one, do the same thing. Subtract it from the mean, square that number, add those together, and continue with all your data until you've got all those values put together. Then you'll divide it all by the number of things, just like you did with the mean, and then you'll take the square root of that whole thing. Okay. What I'm going to show you is a way to do that on a calculator that'll save you a lot of time if you have the tool. Okay, here's the exercise that you're going to do. Okay. Let's take a simple example. We're going to take a data set. If you, let's see, where's my pencil? I'll take one simply straight out of the book. Okay, part of what you're going to be doing. Find my pencil. So we have these set of numbers 7, 4, 6, 8, 5, 9, 7. 6, 8, 5, 9, and 7. Okay. Now if we want, you can see right away that 7 repeats the most, right? There's 2 7s and everything else is singular. So 7 would be the mode. Mode is equal to 7. Okay. Now, for the mean and the median, well, the median, I'd have to put these in order. I got to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values. So the fourth one is in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that tells us that our median is equal also to 7. To find our x bar, we'd have to add all this up and divide by 7, which you could probably do that in your head. These are simple data, but I'm going to show you how to do that on your graphing calculator. You see this button that says stat. Okay. You would hit stat. Oops, got to turn it on first. Turn it on, hit stat. Okay. And then you see this window here that says edit calc tests. And we want to go to edit. I have some data in my here, so I'm going to clear my data. To clear a column real fast, go back to stat and see where it says clear list number 4. So I'll go to 4. Clear list is asking me for a list. So then I look down on my choices here. And above the number 1, there's this purple L1. So I have to get, well, I guess it's blue L1. And it's told me I want to clear list 1. So I hit enter. And it's done. So I can go back to stat and edit. And I'm going to enter. And I'm going to put those numbers in there just like they're in the data set. 7, enter, 4, enter, 6, enter, 8, enter, 5, enter, 9, enter. Oh, there's another 5, 7. I didn't see that other 5. So there was actually another 5 in here. So the mode is 7 and 5, okay, which changes our median probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's still 7 because it's going to be between 7 and 7. So it's still 7. And let's just see. So now we've got our data entered into our calculator. Now I'll go back to the stat button. And now you see where it says calc. We want to go over and calc. And then we've got a whole series of choices. And we want the first one variable stats. Because we only have one variable. It's just the X. So we hit enter. And then it's going to ask, are you doing list 1? Yes. And then I go down to calculate. Hit the enter button. And it gives you this big thing. Okay. The first one, you see it says X bar. Okay. So it's telling us our mean is 6.375. So our X bar is 6.375, which is approximately 6.4. And then this also gives us further information. It gives us stuff that we're not looking for, you know, this sigma x and this sigma x squared. That's some statistics stuff you'll learn about later. And there's SX. That's another statistical thing you'll learn about. But this is the one we're looking for, this sigma, baby sigma x. That is our standard deviation. And this one says our standard deviation is 1.576190007, or about 1.6. So our standard deviation is about 1.6. Okay. So now we've got our mean, and we're looking for our median. So we can do one more thing with this. We can get our mean, our standard deviation, and see how it's got a little arrow down there telling us that there are 8 values in our set. And I'm going to arrow down, and I'm starting to get more information. I tell you my minimum value is 4. The Q1, that's another statistical thing. And there it is, median, 6.5, and our maximum value is 9. So we can figure out our range. It went from 4 to 9, so our range is 9 minus 4. The range would be 5, and our median is 6.5. So our range, 9 minus 4, which equals 5, and our median is 6.5. So I must have counted wrong when I did this counting up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's between 6 and 7, 6.5, halfway between them. So that's using your calculator, the stat button, to find all these statistical data that we can do on this page. If you don't have a calculator, then you have to go back and do everything the hard way. Okay, so you have to use, especially for this one, the standard deviation, we would have to do that nasty long equation. Let's see if I can even write it out for you. Okay. It would be, we found our X bar, which is 6.375. So we'd say our sigma is equal to radical 7 minus 6.5, 6.4 quantity squared plus 4 minus 6.4 quantity squared plus 6 minus 6.4 quantity squared plus, and so on and so on. You have to write all those things out and do all that arithmetic and divide that all by 8, and then take the square root, and you'll come out with a number like this 1.6. Okay. So that's the long way to do it. If you don't have the good calculator like I recommended that you acquire, so you can do these problems very quickly with the calculator. So what you're going to, there's one other portion to this, and I'm going to bring it in right now. Okay, so not only going to be calculating your measures of central tendency and dispersion. Here are your dispersions, the range and the standard deviation are your dispersions, and the mean, median, and mode are your measures of central tendency. What's in the middle, towards the middle, these are all about the middle, and this is all about how is it spread. So what is the standard deviation? That's where we get into this idea of the normal distribution, which is the next part of this, and I think I'll put that on a second video because this is already long enough. Okay, so what you're going to do, I'll put this on the Google Classroom. This has to do with section 11.1, and you're just going to do a few exercises to discover your measures of dispersion and central tendency. All right, coming soon, more.